All right, we're on to irrational escalation of commitment. The definition for this refers to a situation in which people tend to make rational decisions or irrational decisions based upon rational decisions in the past to justify actions already taken. Now, this can be summarized using game theory. It's an interesting game. So, in this, where's my eraser? There are two players with two decisions they can make. They can either fight or they can quit. So, you have A and B. Strategy is fight or quit. So out of the outcomes, there would be 4 possible outcomes. So let's just say so player A's payoff is in the front. Since those will be equal, I'll just do F bar, Q bar. And the way this goes is it can go on infinitely or it can be stopped when somebody wins. The way somebody wins is if the other person quits. So let's say that A does fight and B does quit. And vice versa. If B does fight and A does quit, then B will win. If they both quit, they both lose. They both get the L, but if they both fight, they go on to the next game. Then they'll go on to round 2 and they'll continue this through. I'll just leave that out. So most of the time, if you'd go on the street and you'd talk to people and you would say, all right, so it'll be you versus somebody you haven't met. If you win, the pool is $1. So the pool is $1. The pool is $1. So let's say that there's Alice and Bob. Let's say Bob says he will fight. Alice says she's going to quit. Bob will get that $1. But let's say they both fight. They can both go to the next round, but there is a cost. So the cost is 75 cents. So going on to the next round would be 75 cents. So like I said, you have, just say A and B, you have 2 players who have 2 strategies, fight or quit. So let's just say round 1, let's just say in round 1, let's say they both fight. So they're going to go to round 2. Round 2 there. So now A and B are both minus 75 cents, but the pool is $1, so there's still 25 cents up for grabs. Now, let's just say they both pick different options, so we'll just start off there. Let's say that A picks fight, because A's thinking, all right, let's say I do another fight. Hopefully B will quit. That's what he's banking on. Hopefully B will quit, because if B plays again, he's going to be down $1.50 if he continues out. So A is hoping that B will quit, and then in that case, A will get 25 cents. So he'll come out on top. So in this, A would get 25 cents net gain, B would have a net loss of 75 cents. But then let's say B is thinking the same thing. Let's think B is like, all right, I'm gonna fight for this one because A is gonna give up. He's not gonna keep playing onto this game. If he does, he's just gonna lose money because I'm gonna win. Now A's already fighting. And that's going to continue to another game. Now both of them are down $1.50. So both of them are down $1.50 now. Now, is it logical for them to quit? Now, what are the four options we have? We either have fight, or we have a quit fight, or the other quit fight, but we can probably just put that to three options, having both quit fight reversals as one quit fight outcome, since it doesn't matter time-wise or which player quits. And then you have both who quit. But you're probably not going to both quit. You're hoping that the other person is going to quit. So what do you do for the next game? Well, in the third game, there's no money on the table. You're already lost. The best you can do is get minus 50. So if you go to the next game, you're going to be at minus 50 if you win. So in this one, let's say that A's like, all right, I've had enough. So then A quits and B fights. Since this is the next round, he's still going to lose that much. So A has got a net loss. I'll move that over here. So if you continue this out to round 3, so A will have a net loss of $1.50. B will have a net loss of 50 cents. But often you don't see this. You often see people keep going and going and going. Either people are going to quit in the first round, or they're going to go into the second round and either quit or keep going. But once you get past that first or second round, there is a tipping point where you're going to keep following the logic. You're going to keep going with it. Now, you can ask, why would this happen? Well, maybe people are just crazy. Maybe that's one outcome. Maybe that's people are crazy, they're just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. That's one way to look at it. You could also say, well, I've already lost the money. This is a sunk cost. Sunk cost is something I talked about earlier. It is the misconception that you make rational decisions based on future value of an object or investment or experience or whatever. The truth is your decision is tainted by your emotions and how much time you put into it. The more time you put into something, the harder it is to back out. It's a sunk cost. I put 2 years in this relationship. I'm not going to give up that relationship. I'm not going to give up that 2 years. I put 3, 4, 5, 6 years in this job. I'm not going to give that up. Even though that is not a zero-sum game. It's not, you lose all that. But that is another kind of advice. So this is a sunk cost. So going into this third game, this third round, you already have a sunk cost going on. It's another thing I play. It could also be a sense of pride. You know, I've already went into it. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going with it. Is another style of this. And you can see this in the real world as well. This does have a name. It's called the War of Attrition. So one of the ways you can see this was with the satellite broadcasting system in Europe. There's a big fight between Sky Television and the British satellite broadcasting company. And they started doing this and they kept going. They were trying to win people's affection and get a hold of the market. There wasn't enough resources for everyone else. You had to get a hold of the market. So what they did is they dropped their prices. They're giving away, free installation, satellites for free. They're giving away TVs and all this stuff, and they kept going and going and going. But when they started looking at the numbers, they realized even if they do win and they get the market, with how much money they lost, they would barely break even. And they just kept going on this. Another one is, World War I with the trenches. That was a huge war of attrition. It just kept going and going, 1914 to 1918. So that is another definition of war of attrition. Let's see. You can also look at this. Let's say, let's make up. Let's just say there is a mob city or something like that, or there's a dictator, and you're trying to, build a building there or something, and you pay him $1,000. Like, hey, here's $1,000. Can I build this building, or can I build this bridge? But then somebody else pays him $1,000 to do this, and he comes and he's like, well, you paid $1,000, but that other one paid $1,000. So who really wants to build it? You can pay me, and you just keep paying him and paying him and paying him, and it's going to go into a sunk cost. Like, oh, I've already dipped $4,000 or $5,000 into this. This also can go into like mobs as well. Let's say that there's two restaurants or businesses, and the mob only wants to, one to be in town or something like that, and each business like, hey, you can have our protection, and the one who doesn't have our protection, the one who gets our protection, will take care of that other opponent for you. And they keep paying the mob. Both companies are paying the mob, like, hey, protect me, but don't protect them. So you can see where this logic kind of goes. But yeah, that is a game theoretical way of looking at irrational escalation of commitment. But yeah, I think that's pretty much interesting. I don't think I have any other topics on that, but yeah, thank you very much.